Welcome to the Jenni Carlson Show. The college football bowl season has shifted into overdrive. But if you were watching when the bowls got started, you got to see a Millwood High School alum show out. Ohio running back Rickey Hunt Jr. tied an NCAA bowl record with 5 touchdowns from scrimmage in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. And he did it in his very first start of the season. I'm so happy to have Rickey here today to talk about all that and more. But first, I want to say a word of thanks to these sponsors for supporting the Jenni Carlson Show. Oklahoma Ford Dealers Association, Two Fellas Movers, MidFirst Bank, the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, FireLakeJobs.com, Next Gen Roofing, 988, Oklahoma's mental health lifeline. Remember, drive into your best in Oklahoma Ford dealers today for the best deals on Ford's full lineup of trucks and SUVs. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. Also, if you're moving, let's face it, a box of pizza and a case of beer just don't work like they used to. Nobody wants to help you move. But we know two fellas that love moving. At Two Fellas Moving Company, we offer free, no-strings quotes for your move. With over 20 years experience, we've pretty much moved it all. Our services don't end at moving either. Need to do some spring cleaning or remodeling? We have you covered with dumpster rentals and junk haul services. Remember, quotes are free and there's no strings attached. If you're moving in Oklahoma, make sure to call the fellas. Visit twofellas.com for your free quote today. Well, Rickey, it is so great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, congratulations are in order. Obviously a big bowl win, but also a big day for you. I mean, good grief. Have you come down from the high of all that yet?
I was never on the high. I stayed the same, making sure I stayed humble and everything.
Well, that's a good thing because you might have just floated out of the Myrtle Beach Bowl the way things went on Saturday. So, by the way, I got to say you're repping the Millwood there. I love the look.
Oh yeah, gotta rep it, rep home.
Well, we'll talk about Millwood here in just a second, but let's backtrack here just a second because I want to sort of let people know how you got to this point because a year ago this week, essentially, you're signing that national letter of intent, early signing day, signing with Ohio. Just tell us what it was about Ohio that resonated with you. Why'd you pick them in your recruitment?
I picked Ohio because they are a family-based team. Like every time I talk to them, it's always, "How are you doing? How are your family doing?" All of that, and it wasn't just football. They make sure asking how my grades were, how everybody in my family was. So that's why I picked Ohio. Coach Tim Albin, we talked every week. Like that was my guy. Coach Brian Smith, we talked like the whole coaching staff make sure like before games they talk to me. We have a good conversation. So that's why I picked Ohio.
You not only picked them, signed with them, but you decided to enroll early, leaving Oklahoma, going to Ohio for spring semester, spring practice. Kind of walk us through that process of deciding to do that. And, obviously you were a multi-sport athlete at Millwood, so you were saying, I'm going to leave that early too. Just what was the thought process there through all that?
It was a very hard decision, a very hard decision. I wanted to stay back and be with my boys, go win another state championship, but I had to come early, had to lay my foundation at Ohio, make sure I got everything I needed, and I was done with high school early. I had all my credits, so it's like, why wait until the summer when I can go now? And so I just took the opportunity, and it all worked out for itself.
Was there somebody that was hardest to tell that you were going to leave early?
Yeah, really everybody. My basketball coach, it was hard to tell him, but our superintendent, Dr. Woods, it was hard to tell her, but yeah.
But it seems to have worked out okay.
Yeah, they all took it. They were saying they're proud of me and they're going to be rooting for me.
For sure. So walk us through this season. You're a young guy on campus, even with the early enrollee status, going through spring ball. You knew you were one of the young guys. So how did this season unfold for you in terms of just, where you were on the depth chart? And I know the carries weren't exactly plentiful for you this regular season.
Yeah, well, the season, at first it didn't start off how I wanted. just like you said with the carries and the depth chart, but it all worked out for us good. I had great mentors like C.A. Bangura, O'Shawn Ollison, Nolan McCormick, Quintel Q. We had Bryce Houston, Parker Titsworth, Shed Rose, the whole O-line. Everybody was just making sure they was being a good big brother, showing me the ropes. Not only me, but all the other freshmen like Chase Hendricks, and like everybody, all the freshmen. So I had a good big brother support, and also with the coaches. Coach Brian Smith, he make sure he gave me all the ropes, make sure he told me everything that I needed to do. And also Coach Tim Alvin, like it was hard because I was away from home, wasn't used to that, missing family, and everybody just embraced me and showed me love.
So who sort of do you lean on throughout this regular season when maybe you aren't getting the carries or the playing time that you want? Who, it sounds like teammates and coaches were rallying around you. Were they the main ones, or did you find some people back here around home that you could find yourself sort of leaning on?
You're not going to believe it, but the main person that I leaned on, his name is Mr. Moon. He's our head equipment person. That's my best friend right there. We talked every day before practice, after practice, before games. Like that's my guy right there. And with also him, I had my family to lean on and my teammates and coaches, but he was definitely that one person that I can go to whenever.
What was it about him? What resonated? Why was he the guy that you sort of found yourself being able to talk to like that?
We just had a great connection from when I went down there on a visit. He was open arm, just talking to me, and it was crazy because my first day we went down there and we was getting our gear and everything, and I told him, I was like, he said, "Don't be asking for a whole lot," but I told him and his other staff that, hey, we're going to be best friends, and I didn't think it was going to be true, but now today we're really best friends.
That's awesome. Hey, finding people that got your back, that's important, right?
Yes, it's very important.
Well, I know, like I said, not a ton of carries in the regular season, but then you guys head into bowl season and you're getting ready for this Myrtle Beach Bowl against Georgia Southern. You guys have several running backs that get in the portal. Talk me through all that. How did that process go? And then how did it land that you're the starter for the bowl game?
It was very crazy because these are the guys that's been there through thick and thin. We had a 6 year and then a redshirt sophomore. CA and O'Shawn, they were the heart of the team, and so it was very heartbroken because they were our guys. Those are my brothers, but like Coach Alvin said, it's next guy up mentality, and the next guy up was Nolan McCormick. He did a fantastic job in the game. He had a great game, and then I was just there to back him up.
Well, you did a little more than back up, Rickey. I think it's safe to say you went from 6 carries in the regular season to 5 touchdowns in the bowl game. I mean, how do you wrap your head around that?
It's still unreal. Like I tell everybody, that was nothing but God. He showed his works. He showed that if you stay with him, that anything is possible.
Let me read this stat line too, because you had almost as many touchdowns in the bowls. You had carries in the regular season, 5 touchdowns, 133 total yards. I mean, you scored your first career touchdown in this bowl game, right?
Right.
So talk me through that. What was that first career college touchdown like for you?
It was wonderful. As soon as we got to play, it wouldn't have happened without Sam Wiggles getting open for that catch and just setting it up perfectly. The O line did an amazing job opening up the hole, and all I had to do was just walk right in.
I mean, you scored a lot of touchdowns during your time at Millwood. So, like, scoring a touchdown is not a new thing for you, but did it feel different in that moment?
In that moment, it did. It was so unreal because it's like, wow, I just scored a touchdown on a collegiate level and on ESPN. It was just crazy.
And then you did it again and again and again and again. did it start to did your head start to swim at how many touchdowns you were scoring in that game?
No, it didn't start to swim. Like I just made sure I was just staying humble. Everybody kept coming up to me saying, oh yeah, you're gonna be the MVP. You're gonna do this. I'm like, hey, I'm a team player. Just talk to me after the game. Let's just get this win first.
I mean, 5 touchdowns is a big day, no matter the level, no matter what's going on. I mean, in that moment, are you realizing that you might be having, maybe even a record-setting type day, or what's sort of going? Sounds like you were trying to stay really in the moment, but is there any part of you that's thinking, "Holy cow, that's like 4 or 5 touchdowns. That might be something significant."
It was just crazy. Just going back to my team, they counting it out. I'm like, did that really just happen? Like, wow. I was just
Yeah.
real like I still can't believe it to this day. It's just crazy.
So when were you told that it had tied the NCAA record for touchdowns from scrimmage? I mean, it's obviously the Ohio records as well. I think you're the first non-quarterback to score 5 touchdowns in a single game. I mean, when do you start to hear some of these records that you're a part of?
I didn't hear it until it was about 30 seconds into the game left, and I'm just sitting there. Somebody said, "You didn't tie the record, and you didn't. You have the school history." I was like, "Wow, that is crazy."
So talk to me about the aftermath, the post game, the hours and days since the game. Has your phone just been ringing off the hook? What's it been like?
It's been crazy. Everybody showing love, all my family, friends, everybody that I didn't know, they're hitting me up. It was just crazy. I'm just making sure that I show love to my family and everything. It's just all crazy.
Are you sort of glad that like this happened when you're now on break and you get to kick back? I mean, if this had been a regular season, you'd have had to be preparing for another game.
Oh yeah, I'm glad it happened now, but then again, it was the last game with my brothers. I kind of wish we had some more to go, but yeah, I'm glad that it happened over before break.
So I want to talk about Millwood here in a second. You've got your gear on. I need to talk about that. But before I do, what's sort of the next few weeks? You just going to rest a little bit before heading back to Ohio, or what's sort of the immediate future look like for you?
The future is looking like I'm gonna stay here, rest up, do some working out with my trainer, and then I'm gonna head back up to Ohio and start it all over again.
Yeah. Is your feeling after what happened in the bowl like you've got a good chance to be the guy in the backfield next year? What's sort of your sense of where you fit in moving forward?
My sense is just staying low, staying humble, just whatever the coaches decide, that's what it's gonna be, and just wait till my time comes, just like how I did on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Millwood for a second. You're part of a very proud tradition, Millwood Falcon, and obviously some great football teams you played on, some great basketball teams you played on, championship level. How did going to Millwood? What did being a part of the programs there do to prepare you for college, for what you did in that bowl game?
It prepared me a whole lot. Like I'm a legacy at Millwood. My whole family went to Millwood, so it just prepared me a lot. Coach Franklin, he instilled so much. We had so many conversations, like from freshman year on to senior year. Before games, when he's outside painting the field, we're having conversations about just leadership, not only football but how to be a leader. Had conversations with Coach Henderson, Coach Alexander, Coach Woods, like everybody. It was all the coaches had conversations. They instilled in me. Had conversations with Coach Black, Coach Batson, Coach Corey, like everybody.
Hmm. So I assume that you heard from those folks after the game on Saturday.
I did. Yes, I did.
What was the message from them? I mean, these are folks that knew you when you were coming up before, you sort of stepped out into the world. What did they have to say?
They were just proud of me, very proud of me. Just seeing how I grown from freshman year on to now, like they were just very proud of me.
Yeah. So, okay, I want you to rewind on Millwood a second. Do you have a favorite memory I mean, like I said, you played on some really great teams in a lot of different sports. Do you have a favorite memory from your Millwood playing days?
Uh, just making it to state, man. That was a dream come true right there. Well, me, I've never made it to state, and to rally up my brothers, my teammates, and we all go for one goal and make it to state. Although we didn't come out victorious, but that moment right there was just so unreal.
Yeah. Hey, I have to let people know what kind of teammate you are, because like you said, you left early for Ohio, missed the basketball season, but when Millwood made the state finals last year, there you were. You were on the bench. Not everybody does that, Rickey. What was the thought process to come back for that game for those guys?
I had to come back. Like I asked Coach Alman, is it okay if I come back? And he said yeah. So I had to come back and show my love and support to my brothers. Like they really did their thing. They won 2 times. Like it's just crazy. I had to come back for them.
What was it like sitting on the bench watching those guys with the Millwood across the chest, and you're not able to be out there with them?
It felt weird. I'm like it just felt weird. I'm like some of the times I'm like ready to go get out there, go sub in, but I'm like, okay, I'm not in that position anymore. But it just felt weird. I wasn't in that position ever, just sitting on the bench, just watching. But I'm glad I was there to help coach out, help lead my brothers to another victory.
I know I'm talking to some of those guys. I covered quite a few of those games during their state run. A lot of those guys reference picking up things from you about leadership and just how to be. I have to think you maybe felt a little part of that championship, even though you weren't able to run down and check in at the scorer's bench. Like you had some impact on those guys, it sounds like.
Yeah, I did. I made sure that everybody had what they need. I told them, hey, if you ever need something, you can hit me up. But really just being a friend, that's all what leadership is about, making sure that everybody knows their part. Like with the first state championship, it was a hectic year, but we made sure that we stayed together. I made sure that I talked to each and every one of them and just hear what they had to say and put that into the basketball standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I know obviously anybody who leaves Millwood of those programs leaves a fan, but now I have to think you've got a lot of Ohio and Rickey Hunt fans at Millwood. Aren't there? There's got to be some green running around Millwood nowadays.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. We need all the fan base we can get.
Hey, lastly, I got to ask this question. I know from covering Millwood over the years, there are nicknames for everybody at Millwood. So what was yours, Rickey?
Mine was Little Rick or Ricky, Hollywood, R5. It's just which one of them ones. If you just say Ricky, I look up and that'd be me.
So is there a giver of nicknames at Millwood? Like, is it a head coach or does it just happen?
It just happens. You know, Coach Franklin, he always have a nickname for somebody. I can't really say his favorite one, but he'd just have a whole lot for everybody.
Yeah. So it's okay if somebody else gives him, though? It's not like just his job?
Oh, yeah, it's not just his job. Any coach can give it to you. A player can give it to you. And if it sticks on, it sticks on.
It better be a good one then. Something that you want to carry for a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, Rickey, thank you so much for joining us. We cannot thank you enough. So close on the heels of that big performance. Just congratulations to you, and hope we have another reason to bring you back on the show sometime real soon.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody who's watched. If this was your first time hearing or watching the Jenni Carlson Show, be sure to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Also, if you like what you hear, please leave a review. And remember, you can find all my work at selloutcrowd.com. If you're there, you can sign up for my newsletter. It's easy and it's free. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.